Here's the things I wish I knew when I started playing New World. I have over 4,000 hours in New World, so all of these tips are going to help you when you start playing New World. The first thing that I'm going to discuss is harvesting tools. When you start playing the game, you go to inventory, you'll see that you will have harvesting tools. I took way too long to upgrade these tools. Whenever you upgrade these tools, your harvesting will be much faster, and you can see there's special perks on the tools as well, like increasing your yield, gathering and logging efficiency, and so forth. But you can also increase the amount of XP you gain from harvesting. So another thing that I wanted to discuss is that you have factions in New World. When you start playing the game, you get these factions. You can see there's a green faction, purple faction, yellow faction. And you will be able to get your faction in Everfall. Go and do your faction mission as fast as possible. And once you have your faction mission, you can actually go and buy some tools at your faction giver. This is your faction giver. You go to your rewards. You will see that he will sell you some tools. You can either buy your tools here, or you can go to the trading post. The trading post always have this little crow with the coin in his beak. So you go here, you can buy some tools at the faction giver as well. Or you can just craft your own. But just make sure to upgrade your tools as fast as possible. Another major thing that I made, a big mistake in New World, is my territory standing. If you open your map, you go to your territories. You will see here's all your territory standing. If you see there's a little red notification there, you will see you can choose these cards. So there's a few cards that you can choose in New World. Usually I just go with crafting speed or reducing my taxes, but let's quickly go over the best territory standing cards that you should choose. Never choose the XP card, since when you hit max level cap, that card will be useless and there's no way to respec your territory standing. So think ahead, think at endgame level. First of all, you get a card that will increase your faction tokens. With faction tokens, you go to your vendor. This vendor, and you can buy special items. When you go to your max level, here you can buy armor and so forth. Your Ace of Inductor and your chromatic seal and your rune of holding, these will cost a lot of faction tokens. So you can choose your highest level area to level just faction tokens. For example, I level my faction tokens in Brimstone Stands just because I like to do my faction missions in this area. You also get a gathering speed card, which will increase your gathering speed. I won't recommend it. Or if you have a place that you like to go and farm consistently, you can choose your gathering speed, but I won't recommend it. You also get a card which will increase the number of items in your house. If you're somebody who likes to roleplay and you want more items in your house, you can choose it, but it's not a very good card to choose for territory standing. Of course, you get your house ownership card. This one you will have to choose, since you can get up to 3 houses in New World, but it will always be available. You also get a property tax card that will decrease your property taxes. I won't recommend it since housing is already so cheap. The other card that you get is territory standing. This card is a very good card to choose since territory standing takes a long time to level. So whenever you see this card, I would say pick it. You also get a station fee card, so it will reduce your station fee. For example, here you can see crafting fee will be reduced. I recommend choosing this card in a specialized territory. For example, my crafting fee is reduced at Windsward, so whenever I craft in Windsward, my fee will be reduced. So I do recommend choosing this card. It's one of the best. There's also a storage increased card that you can use, since it's a very good one. Another one is trading tax. So whenever you go to your trading station, for example this trading station, you will get taxed whenever you buy something. So you can see here there's a taxing fee that is included. So that card will reduce the trading tax. I would also recommend specializing in one territory for that trading tax. For example, Ebonscale Reach is my trading tax territory. And then of course we talked about the XP card, which you shouldn't take. The best 3 cards that you should always choose or try to choose is trading tax, station fee, standing gain, and I'm gonna add another one, storage. Those are the best 3 that you can choose out of the lot. It's up to you which one you choose and in which territory you can level, since every territory can get a territory standing. For example, you can see here's all my territory standings for each and every section of the map. Here's just another example of all the territory standing in the area. Since I chose Brimstone, you can see my trading fee is minus 39%. My stations fee is minus 32%. I have increased storage and standing gain. I also have a house in Brimstone. So this is very important to know. Do not overskip this. This is one of the biggest mistakes I made in the beginning as a beginner, since I chose to gain extra XP when leveling. Let's move on to the next tip that I wished I knew sooner, is music buffs. You can play music in New World and you can choose a music note to play, and these music buffs will give you XP or give you extra gathering speed and so forth, even territory standing. So make sure you always have a music buff ready. You can choose whichever one you like. There's a few music buffs that you can play, but you won't have everything. As you level with your music, you will unlock new buffs. So whichever buff is available to you, just play some music and make sure you have that buff. As you can see, you can play some music. I've turned down my sound just because it gets annoying a little bit, but you can see what we're doing here. There you can see we just played our music and now we have a buff. You can also collect tips, but you will see we have our little territory standing buff on us since we completed the music. To play music, you will require an instrument. Here you can see I have a few instruments that I can play. My favorite instrument to play is either the virtuoso or the drums. I also really like the flute. You can buy yourself some instruments on the market. There's also a mission that's going to pop up that will show you in Everfall to get your first instrument. So go to Everfall into the city where you can choose your first instrument. Another tip that I can give you, you can get free faction bonus missions every day. If you go to your faction giver, you will see you have faction missions, so daily bonuses available. Basically, when you do your faction missions, you will gain extra XP. And the thing here is that you always want to do your faction missions in the highest level area possible. So when you're starting out, the highest level area possible is probably going to be Everfall or Brightwood. So whichever territory you have your faction mission available, just go do it in that territory, since each faction giver's level will scale with the territory. So the higher the level of the territory, the higher XP you will gain from your daily faction missions. So just do your daily faction missions, you will gain extra XP, extra territory standing, extra gold. It's a very good thing to do. So make sure you select it. Always do your daily faction giver missions. Once you hit max level cap, you can usually just go to Shattered Mountain to do your XP or into Brimstone, since these two areas is one of the highest level areas in the game at the moment. Another thing I wish I knew sooner was repair kits. Since you can see here you get repair parts. Every time you salvage an item you get repair parts. Let me just show you. So here's an item, and if you salvage it you will get a little bit of gold, and you can see you will get 6 repair parts when I salvage this item. So I just gain a little bit of gold and repair parts. These repair parts can get full, and then you can just go and craft repair kits. So here you can see here's a master repair kit. If I drag this repair kit onto my armor, I can repair my armor. Other words, I can click on this armor and say repair, but it will cost me gold to repair. And it will also cost me repair parts. So to save a little bit of gold, make sure you go to a crafting station like this outfitting station, and you can craft yourself repair kits. A lot of even veterans forget to do this. So you can go to the station and you can craft repair kits. It will also give you a little bit of armoring and help you level your skills. So you can choose a crafting mod that is useless. So a perk, these are perk mods. So these things that you don't use, like maybe you don't use lightning protection or mining yield, all these useless crafting mods that you don't use and can't sell, you craft repair kits with. You can also sell the repair kits at the trading station if you have too many repair kits. So this is a way to make money with basically salvaging. So you can make money with salvaging your item, and you can make money with selling your repair kits. Also, another thing that I wish I knew earlier is once you hit level 20, you can get a mount. For example, you can see I can summon a mount, and you will be able to run much faster on roads with your mount, and this will help you get to places much faster. You can also use fast traveling points, but once you hit level 20, there will be a mission in Everfall with a little hoof where you can go and get your mount. So make sure once you hit level 20, you go and get your mount and you start using your mount and start leveling it. Moving on to the next step, there's a few dailies that you can do in New World. First of all, you can go to this little gypsum kiln. You can find it in higher level areas. For example, here in Great Cleave, Shattered Mountain, Brimstone and Ebonscale. You can find this crafting station. And there's a few things you can craft from this gypsum station. For example, let me show you. Here's a few gypsum orbs. You can go and farm this gypsum as a daily as well. I won't go into much detail of it, but here you can see you can get a cascade of gold and matter. You can only get one every 3 to 4 days, or every week I would say. So every week you can get one of these cascades. It will give you gold and dark matter. And dark matter is really important in this game since you can craft items with it. So here you can see you have to use dark matter to craft your artifacts with. So this will give you a nice little boost to gain dark matter in New World. I know it doesn't make sense right now how everything will work, but just make sure that every week you craft your cascade of gold and matter. I'm going to make a separate guide on how to go and farm these gypsums every day because it's also a daily and there's so many factors that goes into this. So I will link the video here once I've made it. While we're in our inventory, you also get these abnormal ore, as you can see here. Well, you can use these ores to level your harvesting experience. So as you can see here, if I go here and I scroll all the way down, you can see I can craft these to gain extra mining or smelting experience. As you can see, there's my smelting level. So if I craft these, I will gain some smelting and mining levels. You can find these just by mining some ore in the world. For each profession, for each like smelting, even at the loom you can do this. Here you can see it as the same. You can get strange pollen and so forth. Basically, whenever you harvest fibers, mine rocks, or mine some ore in the world, these little special items, like for example, strange resin, this will drop from those ores or harvesting nodes that you mine. So make sure once you have received some of these strange resin or of the other resources, you go to your loom or your harvesting place and you just refine it into XP. This is a good way to level your harvesting experience. Another thing that I wish I knew earlier is that you can see New World doesn't have a mini-map. So what's the workaround? Well, you can place a marker on your map. For example, let's say I want to go to this point. You can see I can place the marker there. So when I place a marker, I can see on my compass, there's my marker, and I can use my mount to go towards that marker. So this is a good way to navigate even if you don't have a mini-map. Another thing that I wish I knew earlier in New World is you never know when you have aggro on a mob. For example, here you will see that little bar just lit up in red. You can see there's a little bit of a red glow. That means I have aggro. So whenever you're in a dungeon and your tank is not doing his job, you will see this little health bar lighting up. Another thing which I wish I knew earlier is that you get a season pass in New World. This is the season pass. And you get some free rewards on the season pass as well. As you can see, there's some free rewards that I can claim. But there's also an activity card. So this is the activity card in New World. And here you have to do some missions. As you can see, I have to gather resources, participate in duels, and for everything that I do here, I can select a card, almost like a bingo card. Once you fill the full row, you will complete the card. You can see all the requirements here. You will get used to this, but basically, whatever you do in New World, make sure you're trying to complete this bingo card. Now that you know all of these tips, go and watch this video to see how to become the richest man on your Fresh Start server, day 1.